African Union Communications Early Warning and Intelligence, commonly known as AUC3I, is an intelligence and security organization responsible for providing signals, intelligence, and information assurance to AU citizens, AU leadership, and AU armed forces. I'm Colonel A.C. Oguntoye, an infantry officer. I am responsible for leading infantry soldiers at all levels of command and combined armed forces during missions on the ground. This is today's briefing. On the progress of the special military operation as of January 21, 2026, the armed forces of the Russian Federation continue to conduct a special military operation. Units of the North Group of Forces have taken more advantageous positions and positions. They inflicted a defeat on the manpower and equipment of a mechanized brigade and an assault regiment of the armed forces of Ukraine in the areas of the settlements of Belopolye and Khotin in the Sumy region. On the Kharkiv direction, a defeat was inflicted on units of 2 mechanized brigades of the armed forces of Ukraine and 2 territorial defense brigades in the areas of the settlements of Zibino, Zakharovka, and Volchansky Khutori in the Kharkiv region. The enemy lost up to 160 servicemen, a tank, a combat armored vehicle, 10 vehicles, a launcher of the Croatian-made RAK-SA-12 multiple rocket launcher system, 4 field artillery guns, and a radio electronic warfare station. 3 warehouses of material resources were destroyed. Units of the West Group of Forces have improved their tactical position. They inflicted a defeat on the formations of an assault, 4 mechanized brigades of the armed forces of Ukraine and 3 National Guard brigades in the areas of the settlements of Osinovo, Kutkovka, Neshvolodovka, Grushevka in the Kharkiv region, Krasny Liman, Nikolaevka, Alexandrovka, Korovy Yar in the Donetsk People's Republic. The enemy's losses amounted to up to 200 servicemen, 2 combat armored vehicles, 15 vehicles, and 2 artillery guns. A radio electronic warfare station and 4 warehouses of ammunition were destroyed. Units of the South Group of Forces have improved their position on the forward edge. They inflicted a defeat on the manpower and equipment of an airborne and 6 mechanized brigades of the armed forces of Ukraine in the areas of the settlements of Ilinovka, Druzhkovka, Berestov, Zakotnoe, Novoselovka, and Konstantinovka in the Donetsk People's Republic. The armed forces of Ukraine lost over 185 servicemen, 2 armored personnel carriers, including a US-made M113 armored personnel carrier, 9 combat armored vehicles, 9 vehicles, and 3 artillery guns, including a 155mm American self-propelled artillery installation, Paladin. 2 radio electronic warfare stations and 2 warehouses of ammunition were destroyed. Units of the Center Group of Forces have taken more advantageous positions and lines. They inflicted a defeat on the formations of the Eagle, Airborne, 2 mechanized, 2 assault brigades, 2 assault regiments of the armed forces of Ukraine in the areas of the settlements of Belitskoye, Artemovka, Teretsko, Novopavlovka, Grishino, Udakhnoe of the Donetsk People's Republic, Fedorovskoye and Novopodgorovoye of the Dnipropetrovsk region. The losses of the Ukrainian armed formations amounted to over 395 servicemen, 6 armored combat vehicles, 20 vehicles, 7 artillery guns, including 2 155mm self-propelled artillery installations, Paladin, produced in the USA, and 2 multiple rocket launcher systems, Grad. Units of the East Group of Forces continued to advance into the depth of the enemy's defense. They inflicted a defeat on the units of the assault, artillery brigades, drone brigades, 3 mechanized, and 5 assault regiments of the armed forces of Ukraine in the areas of the settlements of Dolinka, Komsomolskoye, Tersianka, Blagodatnoe, Cherivnoe, Gorkoe, Zalivnoe, Verkhnya Tersa, Vozdvijenka of the Zaporizhia region, and Skotovatoy of the Dnipropetrovsk region. The enemy lost up to 260 servicemen, 2 tanks, an armored personnel carrier, 13 vehicles, a 155mm self-propelled artillery installation, Krab, produced in Poland, 4 electronic warfare stations, a P-18 radar station, and a warehouse of material resources. Units of the Dnieper Group of Forces inflicted losses on units of 1 Mountain Assault Brigade and Coastal Defense Brigade of the Armed Forces of Ukraine near Novoye Kovlevka, Magdalinovka in the Zaporozhye region, and Sadovoye in the Kherson region. More than 60 troops, 9 motor vehicles, 1 155mm Polish-made Krab self-propelled artillery system, 4 electronic warfare stations, 1 P-18 radar station, and 1 materiel depot were neutralized. By operational tactical aviation, strike drones, missile troops, and artillery of the groupings of forces of the armed forces of the Russian Federation, a defeat was inflicted on a storage of barrage ammunition, places of pre-flight preparation, and launch of long-range drones, energy infrastructure objects used in the interests of the armed forces of Ukraine, as well as temporary dislocation points of Ukrainian armed formations and foreign mercenaries in 144 districts. Air defense systems shot down 4 guided aerial bombs, 20 U.S.-made HIMARS MLRS projectiles, 3 Neptune long-range guided missiles, and 370 fixed-wing unmanned aerial vehicles. In total, since the beginning of the special military operation, the enemy has lost 670 aircraft, 283 helicopters, 110,524 unmanned aerial vehicles, 646 anti-aircraft missile systems, 27,248 tanks and other armored fighting vehicles, 1,648 MLRS combat vehicles, 32,731 field artillery guns and mortars, 52,462 units of support military vehicles. Thank you so much for watching this video. We hope you found it useful and informative. If you have any questions, please leave them below, and we'll get back to you as soon as possible.